Hello, my friends. Welcome back to another exciting one. Today, we are going to take a look at how we can create this beautiful dark scene inside of Blender. Without much talks, open up your Blender and let's go. Before we start, please check out my cosmetic bottles pack, which contains 20 cosmetic bottles, 5 pre-made scenes, materials, gobos, and a lot more to help you create professional looking cosmetic renders in no time. Link in the description below. So as usual, we're going to start from scratch. So let's go to general so that we have our cube and then our light. So let's select both of them and let's hit on X to delete them from our scene. So next, let's do Shift A and then let's go to cylinder to add in a cylinder, right? Let's pop this up and then let's decrease the vertices to, let's say, 24 to something. 24 is nice. We can work with that. So let's select the cylinder and then let's scale it down a bit like this. And then next, let's do Control A to apply our scale. Right, after we're done with that, let's tab into edit mode and let's select our face, select mode here. Then let's select the top part and then we can hit on G, Z to bring it up on the Z axis like this. Right, something like this, or maybe small. Let's bring it up like that. Next, let's make sure we have our edge select mode active. Then let's select the entire edge. Then let's do Control plus B to create a bevel. Right, let's scroll our mouse wheel to add in extra loop cuts like that. Right, so once we are done, let's select our face select mode active again. Then let's select this top part and then let's hit on E for extrusion and then let's extrude it up like this. Nice. Once we are done, let's hit on X and then let's delete the faces so that it's looking like this. Let's focus on the bottom part. So we select this part, then we hit on I for extrusion and then I to insert the face again. Then we can hit on G, Z to bring it inside like this. And then we can do I once again to insert and then G, to bring it inside like this, and then finally let's do an I to insert it inside once again like this. Right, so next, once we are done with our bottle, let's tab out of edit mode, right click and then let's shade it smooth. So this is what we have. Let's add in our subdivision surface. So I'll go to my modifiers tab, generate, and then subdivision surface modifier. I'll increase the levels to 2 and then this is what we have. So now it's looking some weird kind of shape. Let's tab into edit mode and then let's fix it. Right, so once we are into edit mode, let's do Control R and then first let's add in a couple of loop cuts. So Control R and then let's scroll our mouse wheel to add in a couple of loop cuts. Right, next let's tighten up this side. So Control R and let's add one loop cut down here and then maybe Control R to add in an extra one here. And then let's go to the top part, Control R, let's bring it down like this. Maybe we can add a couple of loop cuts here just to make everything nice and smooth. So this is what we have so far for the bottle. Very nice and simple. So next, let's create the cap. So I'll hit on Alt click to select this entire loop, and then we can do Shift D to create a duplicate, and then hit on P and then let's separate it by selection. Right, so once we separated this, let's tab out of edit mode and then let's select the separated object. Right, so once we separated it, it has its point of its origin set to the side. So now if I do G and bring it, you can see where the origin is. It's right down there. Right, so let's reset the origin. So let's go to object, set origin, and then origin to geometry. Now the origin is right in the middle like this. Next, let's tab into edit mode, then alt click to select the entire thing, and then we can do E for extrude. Then we can extrude it on the Z axis like this till it's covering our bottle. And then we can do S, and then ES, and then F to fill it inside. Right, and this is what we have. So next, let's add in some loop cuts. So Control R adding a loop cut right here. The control R, maybe added a couple of loop cuts here and there to tighten up everything. Once we are done, let's right click and then shade it smooth to make it look even smoother. Right, so it's looking a bit bigger. Let's scale it down a bit. So we are going to scale it on the X and then Y axis without scaling it on the Z axis. Right, so let's hit on S for scale, and then let's hold shift and then let's hit on Z. Now we can scale it on only the Y and X axis like that. Let's hit on G to bring it up. Then maybe scale it up like this. G can bring it down like this. Right. So now our bottle is nice and simple and done. Let's continue on with the lighting, the labeling, and then the final render. So once we are done with our bottle, let's look at how we can add in some materials. So as usual, I'm going to hold this side and drag to create another workspace. So this is where we are going to set up our camera. So I'll hit on this camera view to bring my camera like this. And then I'll go to my render properties, scene properties. Then I'll do 1080 by 1080, so a 9 square like this. I'll hit on this lock icon here to lock my camera to view so that I can easily position my camera in the view like that. So next, I'll make sure I have my look dev mode active so that we can see what we are doing. So I'll drag and create another workspace here, and I'm going to change it to shader editor like this. Then right, so now let's add in some materials quickly. So I'll select this bottom part and then I'll hit on new to create a new material like this. So the material is going to be simple. We're going to make it metallic, and then we are going to increase the coats to 1 and then change our coat strength to black like this. Then decrease the roughness a bit, and then increase the roughness of this one, and then change this color to black as well. So the base color is black, it's metallic, and then we have a coat weight of 1, and then a little bit of roughness, and then a tint of black. Right, so that will be our base material. So this is how it's looking for now. So now let's see how we can unwrap this and then add in our label. Right, so we're going to use the same trick we've been using. We're going to bring in a PNG image and then use the PNG image as a mask to unwrap to add in our label. Right, so let's select our principal BSDF and then hit on Ctrl+T to add in our image texture. Now hit on open to locate where I saved my label. Right, so the label is a very simple one. It's just 2 labels. It's just a PNG image. So this is just a black text I wrote. A very simple one. So there are 2 because I want to give it 2 different colors. So I have this one, just this text, and then the other one which has this couple of texts. So first let's import in the first one. So it's going to be the label 1. So I'll just select this one and then I'll open image. So I'll add it to my image. Right, so now we don't see anything. So let's set up our scene. So I'll select this and I'll do Shift D to create a duplicate. Change the tint color to, let's say, white for now, and then I'll do Shift A. I'll add in a mix shader right here, and I'll plug this here, and then I can bring this one. I can put the alpha into the factor to see what's happening with my scene. Right, so as you can see, nothing is happening as of now. So let's go into our edit UV editor. Now let's just create a simple scene. So I'll make sure I have my edge select mode active. Alt click to select this entire edge. Right click and then mark it as seam. I'll do the same for the bottom. Alt click, right, then mark it as seam as well. Mark seam. So once you are done, let's select here Then control click to select this entire line here, right click, and then mark seam, right? So once we are done, we can hit on L to select everything, U, and then we can do hit on U, and then we can do unwrap to unwrap the entire scene like that, right? So make sure I have my look dev mode active here, and then we can hit on L to select individual island, maybe move it somewhere, scale this down, bring it here, and then this is what we have so far. So once we are done, let's just select this side, and then let's hit on L to select the entire loop like that, right? And then this is what we have. So it's been applied, but then it's been applied on the wrong side, right? So you can see how it's been applied. So let's set it up properly. So if I come to this side, my islands, I can select everything, and then first let's rotate it so that it's rotated properly, right? So we rotate it 90 degrees like this, and then let's position it well inside our scene. So I'll hit on G to position it properly, S to scale it down, so we have something like this, right? Nice and simple. So I'm happy with my scene. Nice like that, right? So next, let's go back to our layout. Since we have our first material setup, let's just duplicate. So let's select these three: the mix shader, the label, and then let's hit on Shift D to create a duplicate. So we are going to use it for the second mask, right? So I'll bring the mix shader here. Now plug this shader right into the first one, and then I'll select this shader once again, and then I'll do Shift D to create a duplicate, and then I'll plug this one here, and then plug this shader into the surface, right? And then I'll change this one to my second image. So I'll go back and then change it to this label 2 here. So you can see this is the second image, but I want to give it a different color. So that's why we added another mask basically. So I'll right click and then make it this nice tint of red like that. It's looking nice and beautiful. We can make this a bit rough and this a bit rough again. So it's looking nice and beautiful. So now next, let's look at our cap. So I'll select the cap. I'll hit on new to create a new material. Make it metallic. Then decrease this thing a bit like this. And then maybe we can add a little bit of accent of red to this cap. So quickly jump into edit mode. Shift R. Create a loop cut right here. Then maybe Control plus P to bevel the loop cut. So I have this nice and thin line here. I'll come to let's go to our materials tab, and then let's hit on plus, on the plus to create a new material. So once the new material is created, we can hit on new to create a new material. Maybe change the color to red, and then hit on assign to assign that new material to this side, right? So let's just make the material metallic, and our coat, just as usual, let's make it 1. Then let's change the color to something like this, or we can just click here to select our color like that. So it's just an accent color to match this color here, right? Nice. So next, once we are done with our our materials, let's look at how we can create our scene, right? So to create our scene, I'll make sure I'll go to my render properties, change it from EV to cycles. Then I'll change it from device to GPU compute, right? Then let's come to this side and let's click on our render view. So this is what we have. Now let's go to our world. So into the shader editor, let's go to our world view. And then let's make sure we have this color of the background set to black, right? So we have pure black like that. So let's click on these two things to hide all the annotations. And this is what we have. So now let's add in some lighting to our scene to bring our scene to life. So first I'll do Shift A. And then I'll add in a light. So we do area light first. And then let's bring it to the side. So I'll hit on G. Then bring it to the side like this. Then we can rotate it up on the Y axis. So I'll hit on R for rotation and then Y to rotate it on the Y axis like this, right? So we can scale it up. And then G to bring it back. And then we can rotate it once again until it's pointing our object like this. So let's increase the power of our light. So we can go with something like 100. And let's see the effect we have, right? Let's do G and we can position it back like this. Nice and simple. So let's do Shift D to create another duplicate. And let's bring it on the side. And let's rotate this one too, so that it's facing this side. Right. Nice and simple. Maybe we can decrease this light or we can leave it like this. The choice is in your hands. At this point, feel free to be creative. Right. So next, let's select this first light. Then let's do Shift D to create a duplicate. Then let's bring it forward. And let's do R. And then let's rotate it so that it's facing our bottle like that. Then we can scale it up. Hit on S to scale. Now we can scale it up inside like that, right? Can position, bring it back a bit. Yeah. So it's that simple, as simple as that. That's how we can easily create this kind of dark scene inside Blender. So you can just play along with the lighting till you find what works best for you. You can bring this light, you can choose to bring it back a bit like this, so I will create this strong kind of mysterious look we are going for, right? So next, let's see how we can render this out. So I'll just select my camera and then make sure we can increase the focal length to, let's say, 970, so that it's nice and bold like this, looking nice. And then maybe once it's done, we can go to our render, then maybe change the color management to high contrast so that it's very nice and punchy. You can obviously add in some lights at the front, or you can bring this light in front here a bit just to review your logo a bit like this. So once you're done with everything, you can just set your render max sample. So I'll set mine to 100 for now. I'll save my file and then I'll hit on render to render my final scene. As you can see, very nice and beautiful. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe. See you on the next one. It's my friend, and peace out.